Hello, hello. Thanks for checking in with me today. I want to share with you more about my Optavia journey. So, the thing that I want to talk about today are the supplements that I'm using. I've been using a lot of these for a long time, so I just wanted to highlight them based on what they are, show you the bottle so that you can just learn a little bit about the research that I have done. So, the big part about my PCOS journey is that I have not wanted to just do medicine all the time. So I did start out when I was diagnosed with taking metformin, and that was not good for me. I think maybe I've mentioned that before, but it just dropped my blood sugar. I was always low blood sugar. I was having to eat all the time just to stay okay. So I ended up gaining weight on metformin. I took it for a little over a year, and then I ended up gaining, I feel like it was maybe like 20 pounds. And I was eating little things, but it was such a struggle. So I went off of that, and I've been trying to recover since then. But even at that time, my blood sugar was not very high. I think my blood sugar, maybe my fasting glucose was 95 or something. So it was on the higher end of a normal, but it still wasn't too high. And I think that just wasn't high enough to, not cause negative side effects. A lot of people do not like metformin. So I was looking into different things. So that just put me into this mode of, what can I figure out? What could be a good answer for me? I am much more someone who wants to figure out what the root cause of a problem is and try to work on that root cause. So that being said, I found a couple of supplements based on some people that I follow online. And a couple books that I've read. So one book that I have read is by Dr. Jolene Brighten. She has an Instagram account. She has a website. I believe that you can just go to her website, and that's drjolenebrighten.com, I believe. But she has a book, and now I can't think about what it's called, but I believe it is about birth control and balancing your hormones after birth control, because her research is so she's a medical doctor, but she definitely has a natural approach. Her research is all about birth control syndrome, what can happen to your body after, because you use birth control, what kind of things are you dealing with. So that is gut problems. You have higher risk of stroke and heart attack. You can definitely come off of it and have a lot of issues afterwards with your hormones themselves. So you can even have PCOS from being on birth control, even though you don't actually have PCOS. So it's a little confusing, but she explains it all there. But her book is so great because she just talks about the root problems and what you can do to fix those root problems, what your body really needs. And so that has been so enlightening for me and helpful to just not feel like I had to have this death sentence, because I have PCOS and I'm doomed to be overweight and have trouble with my blood sugar forever. That's not true. So, that has been great. And then another person that I follow is, what is her name? Alisa. I think it's Alisa. Vitti. She has a book called the WomanCode, and that has been really good for me too, because she talks about a lot of the things that you kind of learn with Optavia, which is, eating probiotics, eating frequently, even though her idea, though, with nutrition is just that you have specific foods that you eat at different times of the month to help your body detox based on your levels of hormones. So, if you're in the part of your cycle where your estrogen is high, then you're wanting to eat foods that help your estrogen clear out. So you're trying to help your colon and your liver detoxify the estrogen. So, you're eating more sweet potatoes and brown rice and things like that. So she definitely has that focus. So that changes a little bit of, what that is, because we don't do that according to Optavia, but she makes you really focus on blood sugar stabilization. So for me, Optavia is a great step in that direction because it helps me get my blood sugar stable. So anyway, all that to say, those two people have been extremely influential. I could totally list a couple others, like Melissa Ramos with Sexy Food Therapy. She also has a website and an Instagram account. And all of these women have, like consults that they do and programs you can purchase with a lot of freebies in there too. So what I have learned is that one of the biggest things for PCOS is that if you have the type that I do, insulin sensitivity is kind of compromised. So one supplement that I take is Ovasitol, and Ovasitol I've been taking for about a year and, well, no, it's been longer than that. I think it's been like 2 years now. And this is one of the best supplement brands I have heard across the board, just from women who are talking about inositol treatment. So there's two different things in this one. It's myo-inositol and dechiro-inositol. So that combination is supposed to really help PCOS specifically, because it helps you with insulin sensitivity, helps with egg quality, and supporting normal hormone levels. So, it's not going to change your hormone levels, but it really will help you be more sensitive to insulin and help you have better egg quality and ovarian function. So this is one of those things I think that is huge for PCOS. This is also something I have been forgetting to take in the last month or two, just being distracted with my new diet. But that is a big one. So that actually comes in a powdered scoop. So you're supposed to do 2 a day. 1 level scoop twice a day in any liquid. And it tastes maybe mildly sweet. That's really all that I can think of. So yeah, that's something. Something else I do, I have definitely changed my prenatal that I've been taking. But I was taking a brand that I was buying off of Amazon, but they were so popular that they were selling out, and I couldn't get any in my hands. So, excuse me. So what I have switched to recently is just the Thorne prenatal. It's their basic prenatal. But, excuse me, the thing that I really like about them, let me find it. Yes, is the fact that they use folate instead of folic acid. Even though everybody preaches about having folic acid for pregnancy, that is not the most helpful version of that vitamin, because folate is the natural, found in vegetables and fruits version. But folic acid is the synthetic. So when you look at this, you want it to say folate, and you want it to be methylated, because supposedly, if you're looking at things such as, hopefully that can focus for you, but it doesn't look like it's going to do that. But folate, a lot of people can be sensitive to folate and not absorb it. That is the big reason why they say you should focus on getting folate instead of folic, because folic acid is, like, since it's synthetic, your body doesn't easily absorb it. If you have any issues with, like, gene mutations, such as the gene mutation in THFR, you can't absorb folic acid at all. So that's a big one for that. I also am a major fan of prenatals that have a lot more nutrients than what is recommended, because if you're eating a standard American diet, your body is not absorbing all the nutrients it possibly could, most likely, because standard American diet really has a lot of oils that are very unhealthy to your gut. You're also doing a lot of sugar. So you're promoting a lot of, like, candida overgrowth and things like that. So the unhealthy versions that cause, or foods that cause inflammation, and even promote things like candida can really affect your gut lining in your intestines. So when you are eating foods like that, then that gut can be permeable and you can have nutrients, not be as well absorbed. I'm not saying this well, but basically, if your gut lining is compromised, you fall into the leaky gut category, meaning that whatever is in your gut can be reabsorbed into your bloodstream, which is not great. So if you have issues with parasites and candida, bad microbiome issues, then all of that can really crowd the area. Parasites eat up the nutrients, so you're not even getting them. There can be a lot of problems with that. So even though they say pregnant women only need a little bit of extra, whatever it is, I really think that if you don't really know what's happening in your gut, like you haven't had it thoroughly tested, it is better to take more than you need in smaller doses, granted. So it's better absorbable and you don't just pee it out, because your body can't absorb everything immediately if you take things in smaller doses. So like this one is a serving size is 3 capsules. So taking one at a time is way better. The other prenatal I was doing was 6 tablets. So, I just did 2 at each meal. So then it could be better absorbed. So anyway, better safe than sorry. Think about the diet. Think about what you've been doing. Unless you're getting stool testing, you really don't know what's going on in there. So I think it's better just to take a little bit extra just in case. So something else that has been highly recommended, I don't really know if this brand is really the one that everyone technically should be using, but it's just a brand that I've used for a long time, but it's NAC. So NAC is really good for free radical protection. It's an antioxidant. It's amazing for your lungs. It's amazing for just keeping everything healthy. So, free radical protection is basically talking about the die-off, you want your body to have the best cellular life it can have. And so this promotes that. And for some reason, NAC really helps to stabilize blood sugar and be helpful for just that extra support that PCOS women have. So we've been taking this. We've also been taking this because of the major viruses that's going on. NAC has been proven to be super helpful for lungs and just helping your body be as healthy as it can be. So that's been a big one. This is a 600 milligram. I have seen, even though the bottle says 1, take 1 a day. Taking 2 is the best, according to Dr. Brighten, for PCOS. So the other thing that is really important for PCOS is magnesium. And there's so many different types of magnesium. So I don't even know if I'm really taking the right one, but I've done magnesium citrate and magnesium glycinate. I've done multiple. Right now I'm taking the glycinate. This is the Cal brand that I take their stress, L-theanine stress relief one that I forgot to pull over here. But this is really good for me because I tend to get a sore back, sore muscles that are just tight in my hips and my back. And so when I take these 2 before bed, I notice that I sleep better because it seems to, I think, just kind of relax my body a little bit. But if you've done any research on magnesium, it's one of the most needed supplements for your body because magnesium used to come from the soil, which is a natural occurring, mineral in the soil. But because we use so many pesticides and, chemicals for our food, we really kill off a lot of those natural things. And so our food is not as, nutrient and mineral rich. So when they do testing on Americans, they say that magnesium is a really deficit in most people. And there's something I feel like it says 300 different processes within the body use magnesium on the cellular level. So that's just something I think is important for me. I've read that it is for PCOS as well, of course. So that's something that I've been working on. It really helps also with electrolytes. So I've noticed a big difference if I'm taking it while doing Optavia, because it helps bowel movements and it helps me not feel as like, I don't know, electrolyte deficit, I suppose. So that's been a really good thing for me too. So magnesium. Other things for PCOS, vitamin D is huge. They have done so many studies on vitamin D for PCOS women. For some reason, PCOS women come up deficit in vitamin D all the time. I don't know the science of why. Some of these things I know a little bit, but I don't really know the science of why that is. Of course, the best form of vitamin D is sunlight, unprotected. But most of the time we go out and we are not unprotected. We are wearing sunscreen, and you can't absorb vitamin D when you have sunscreen on. So there have been a lot of studies, though, I've read about preterm labor and what's it called? When your blood pressure is really high, preeclampsia in pregnancy, and how vitamin D can lower preeclampsia and prevent preterm labor, which is kind of incredible. So I think it's just a really big deal, and a lot of people are deficit. You can get tested for it, and that is recommended, so then you know how much you need. Yeah, so another thing for PCOS is CoQ10. This really is used for heart health, as you can see. And I think that's important for PCOS women because they say that, of course, this is an antioxidant again, so it's really big for the heart health. But women with PCOS, because you have issues with blood sugar, if you are the insulin sensitive type, or have trouble with insulin sensitivity, that really can affect your heart. And so supporting your heart is really important. Doing antioxidants just to help reduce the strain. All of that just really works together. So CoQ10, I've heard, is a really big one. A lot of people talk about the magnesium, CoQ10, and NAC as being, and D. Those are like the main things for PCOS. So that is all that I take for PCOS right there. Vitamin D, the CoQ10, NAC, magnesium, ovasitol, and then a prenatal. The other things I've been doing recently, even though, I left a couple of other ones out, like I do have evening primrose oil and raspberry leaf. Those things, they say, are just really good for fertility and helping tone your uterus and things like that. But that stuff I don't take regularly. These other things I do. But recently I've been thinking and researching more about spirulina. Spirulina is one of the, what do they call it? I don't think they use the word cheapest, but it's just the most available and easily grown of all proteins per weight. So they basically grow it, of course, because it's an algae. Grow it on the water, and so you can grow mass forms of it. And they have theorized that spirulina could actually solve world hunger issues, which is pretty incredible. So the reason why spirulina is so good, though, is because it's really nutrient rich with the protein too. So a lot of people take spirulina for detoxing. It just helps you in your intestines. It helps just cleanse the liver, all of that. But a good side effect of spirulina is that it increases cervical mucus for if you're trying to get pregnant. So, like my sister's been taking it recently because she was having some spotting issues. That's been helping her for that. I think just because it helps with the hormone levels and balancing, honestly. But you can read a ton about spirulina. I would go ahead and do that, just so you could learn a little bit more. But I just wanted to increase cervical mucus and just help my body kind of detox toxins and things like that. So that's another thing I've been doing recently. So this past week or two, I have been working on a parasite cleanse. And the reason why I've done that is, even though that I have not done a parasite test, you can definitely get a stool test, and then they can tell you what parasites you're positive for. I didn't want to go through the money to do it, to be honest. I just know that I have candida issues because in the past I've had yeast infections and been sensitive to those, although I haven't had that in a few years. But I get eczema, and eczema is, pretty well known, but it's just like a dry rash that's itchy that can appear on your skin. For me, it tends to come up after I have eaten milky things or sugar, or if I'm detoxing from those things, after a while I notice it will flare. So when I first started Optavia, mine cleared up really fast, and then the past week or so I've been noticing that it's coming out, and it's coming out when I've been taking these supplements. So super fascinating. But parasite cleanses can also help with candida because it just helps the overgrowth issue. So the idea behind a parasite cleanse is just to kill the parasites themselves. You can have parasites just living in your gut. They can be stored in your organs. You can have them everywhere. I feel like somebody told me they can be in your brain, which sounds a little crazy. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on anything, because I'm not a health professional. I'm just sharing with you what I've learned. But they basically can steal your nutrients. If you have some severe parasites, you're going to see signs of that, they say, such as losing weight and things like that. I'm sorry, my dog's excited. Very nutrient deficit issues. And you see that a lot of times in third world countries with children who are really malnourished. So in America, because we have so many more protective measures with our water and things like that, we really don't have the same type of worms in our bodies. But you can still get parasites from the dirt. You can get it from dirty food. You can get it from sushi. So I just wanted to make sure that I was the cleanest I could possibly be. So I've been taking this one, and this is from Health Force Superfoods, and it's called SCRAM, which is hilarious. It smells really weird, and probably because it has wormwood in it and black walnut. So if you wanted to see exactly what is in there you go. I don't think that's focusing right, but it's basically like a lot of clean type of things, such as cloves and black walnut, with milk thistle. Milk thistle supposedly really helps the liver. And the other things I think are killers and trying to move them outers. So this serving size is 10 capsules because that's what you're supposed to work up to. So like day 1, you're supposed to do 1. Day 2, you would do 3 of these. Day 3, you do 6. And then day 4 to 17, you do 10. So this is really just designed for like a 2.5-week thing. But you do not want to take SCRAM or any other parasite cleanser without the mover, because that can make you completely constipated. You can then be killing off all these things in your gut, and then your body is not being able to move them. So then you're going to get die-off symptoms, which can be things like dizziness and headaches, and some people can get more extreme symptoms, but you want to make sure that you're moving it out. So SCRAM, the company that makes SCRAM, also has this intestinal movement formula. So this is designed to help your body get everything out. So this has been a huge help for me with doing Optavia, since I was having some, or am still having some constipation issues, because Optavia is so high on protein, and I've just reduced my food volume so much. My body is still not used to that. So this has been insanely helpful to be able to go to the restroom 1 or 2 times a day. So this is the same way, where it says you can start with 1 or 2, and then you can go up to 10 of them a day to match the SCRAM. So I've done 6 tablets of both the last 2 days. So today I'm actually going to be upping it to 10 and see what happens. So I'm excited about that, because this is one of the biggest detox things that I wanted to change about my body. I just really wanted to make sure that I could get it as clean as could be. After this, I will be doing another kind of like replenishing type system. It's from the, I don't remember the brand now. I know some of the name, but not all of it. So I'll have to get that for you guys. But that one is a microbiome cleanse as well, but it's just more for your gut bacteria, not a parasite specific. So I'm excited about that one because, you know, anytime you take an antibiotic or you do steroids or, you know, you eat a lot of sugar or processed foods or chemicals or even like the typical oils they use in restaurants, all of that can disrupt your flora in your gut. And so much research now is saying that gut bacteria is your second brain of the body. So, you know, there's your real brain, and then they say it's the second brain. It's the emotional type of part of your body, which I think is really fascinating that they're saying that now. But it's just because, you know, we're made up of bugs. We're made up more of bacteria than anything else. And so if we're washing it off of us and over cleansing ourselves, then we're really destroying the good stuff and the bad stuff. So when you take antibiotics, you end up killing off a ton of bacteria, good and bad. Which is, you know, the point is to kill off the bad stuff, but you end up killing the good as well. So all the bacteria that you get in your body is made from your mother, so she passes that on to you, and then based on what you eat and supplement with, you know, of course you can change that as you grow, but I think it's I've definitely been on a few antibiotics in my lifetime, not a ton. I can't even tell you how many, maybe only like less than 5 probably, which is good, but still, I just know that like my gut isn't all the way healthy. My bowel movements sometimes are inconsistent. Sometimes they're way too loose. A lot of times they're more loose than anything. So I think that means, from what I've read, that it could be potentially too much moisture and mucus in my body. So I think that just rebalancing and working on, you know, killing off pathogenic microbiome issues and then trying to restore with good and healthy ones will be the plan. So that comes with like another thing of a killer and a binder as well. So a binder works a little bit different though than this movement formula. The movement formula just kind of keeps everything moving, so you might even see worms in your stool. But a binder is more of something that captures up bad things and then moves them out. So I don't think this works the same way. I don't think it works as a binder, it's just a mover. So that will be the next phase. So after these few weeks of doing the parasite, then I will jump into the microbiome stuff to just work on the health of the gut after I've killed off the bad things. And the important thing is, from what some practitioners say, is that you want to kill off the parasites first, because if you're trying to rebalance everything, feed your body really healthy, good nutrients, you're going to have the parasites eating that if you have parasites that are there. So then you're kind of working for nothing. So that's why I'm doing that. The cool part about that next protocol is something that I've been learning from multiple practitioners who do a kill, bind, and sweat idea. So you kill the pathogenic things, you bind them with a binder such as like charcoal, and then you sweat it out to detox it, to get it out, because you have several different ways to eliminate. So that's, you know, urine, that's bowel movements, that's sweating. So, you know, all those different ways you can get toxins out of your skin. So you can do high intensity exercise, you can do saunas, stuff like that. So I know that was a lot of information. Once again, this is just what I'm doing from what I've learned from other people. I am by no means a health professional. This is not medical advice. I just wanted to share what I've been learning and what I've been doing. So I feel like a lot of things are readily available just to learn about. So if you're researching supplements or protocols, you can just hear other people's experience. You can work with practitioners specifically. I would recommend that. I mean, I definitely don't want somebody just to see what I'm doing here today and be like, I'm going to do that now. Do your research, ask your doctor, ask your professionals in your life who are helping you, just to know where you are on some things you might need to be tested for them. So, yeah, just wanted to share my journey a little bit. So I hope that is helpful. I can be someone who is way more into something natural than a medicine. Of course, medicines are insanely vital, and I think that's why we have so much success with life expectancy right now, and killing off things, and even the things with the big virus right now. If we didn't have medicine, we would not be able to get through all that. But I just see supplements as something super useful and preventative. So to me, if I can use a supplement and try to, get those healthy things from a food-based item like these, then maybe I can avoid being on the medicines and not have the side effects of that. That's the really cool part about most supplements, is you don't have side effects. And it just makes sense to me, like our bodies were made to thrive. So they were made to heal themselves. So if they need some extra things from our food, something that we would get from food, but we have trouble, coming up with that, then might as well help a little bit. So I hope those things are helpful, supplements that I'm taking, and maybe that inspires you to think about something that you could look into, research, and ask your professionals about. But for now, I guess I'll let you go. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for just coming on today, listening to me talk for 30 minutes about supplements that I'm taking. But I hope that's helpful, because I feel like nutrient issues with PCOS are rampant, and so why not try to help? Anyway, thank you. Please comment, share with me what you do, stuff like that. Please excuse my talk. Have a good one, guys.